The responsibility and determined ruggedness of a Capricorn rising person is really remarkable, as well as their disciplined approach to life that is rooted in reality. They can be pessimistic and cautious at the low level, but at the high level, they are manifestors. They have their goals and they see them through to completion. That's really the gift of Capricorn energy. It's a goal-oriented energy. And if you have a Capricorn rising, your work ethic is also very, very high and up in the charts. I'm over Curdy, and in this video, I'm going to talk about what the Ascendant in Capricorn is all about. I know somebody in my personal life has this placement, so it's going to be very interesting. And so, this is what the Capricorn rising entails. So, people with the Capricorn rising are very serious. They're incredibly serious. They're incredibly focused on their goals. They have a very realistic approach to life. They're focused on long-term solutions, not short-term solutions, but what can be sustainable for the long term. They're competent. They're loyal in relationships. Loyalty is a really, really big thing for them. That they want to make sure that their partner is loyal, that they are loyal. They demand commitment and loyalty in their relationships. They're very image conscious. They're conscious of how they put themselves out into the world, how they're perceived, how they're thought of. And they want to make good, strong, professional, high impressions for the people out there. And so they want to appear successful. They want to be successful. They want to make something of themselves. They want to leave behind a really, really strong and appetitous legacy. They're very responsible also. They want to be around like-minded, reasonable people. Not the crazy, not the spontanes, not a lot of other types of people, but those who are very reasonable. They're very cautious. They can be structured and dependable. There's a very, very strong sense of needing structure for them that is very, very strong. So they need a lot of structure, a lot of, routine in their life. And they're also very dependable people. At the low level, they can be really critical, very, persnickety, um, and they can be, but their goal is being self-starters, the one who initiates the thing, one who leads the thing, one who goes after it without anyone else's approval, without anyone's knowledge, one who races the baton down the line and goes, "Look at me, I don't need anyone else's approval to validate my throwing the baton down the line." So, that is very, very important how they can be go-getters. They can achieve their goals in their sovereign, independent kind of way. They also have a very, very strong respect for tradition. They really respect their traditions. They really want to honor their traditions. History is very important to them. Doing things by the book, doing things that have always been done the very conventional ways, which are ruled by Saturn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Those are the types of ways that they prefer to go about life. It's the tried and the true types of ways. They're very worried and cautious about their material security. So they're hyper aware of what they have in terms of their material security, in terms of their money and their possessions. They may come across, because the ascendant is what people first see of you when they meet you, they may come across as very hardworking to others. In terms of the future, they're very, very worried about this. They're very, very concerned with the future and the long-term plans and the goals that they hope to achieve. They're very patient and they are driven. They know that things can't happen overnight. They put one foot in front of the other to really achieve their goals and have them seen it to fruition. There's a very, very strong realism and pragmatism to Capricorn rising individuals. They're very realistic, and they're very pragmatic. So they can be as flexible as they can be. It's very, very important for them to develop a mindset of flexibility so that they're not so hung up on their plans needing to go a certain way and etc. There's a realistic quality to them. They like to do things the tried and true way, the hard way, the right way, not the smooth way, not the fast way, not the shortcutting, easy way out, but doing things the right way is very important to them. And that's how they approach life. And so there's a high level of ambition with Capricorn rising individuals. And they may also be hyper aware of their duties and responsibilities to other people. They're very hyper aware of their obligations. They're very aware of their commitments that they make others. In terms of their promises, they want to keep their promises to others. So that's sort of where the stew cooks up in the lobster eatings. So there's very, very mature and emotionally detached quality to them, where they can be very mature. Um, Even children growing up with this placement are mature, wiser beyond their years. There is a very, very strong sense of maturity with this placement and emotional detachment, where they're cut off, but not really in tune with their feelings. They can see things more from an objective, logical point of view. They can be stern and authoritarian in nature, authoritative. They need to be discerning about what they study, that they're not just studying any random thing, they're studying what is really the best use of my time and energy to expend my time and energy on. So they're very aware of that. They're very capable people. There's a very, very high level of capability when it comes to them. They're very disciplined and committed towards their goals. That is really their strong suit, is that kind of quality there. They have a very calm demeanor. They go about life in a very careful way, in a very cautious way. They can be reserved at one level. If you have displacement, you know what you want, and you attach your eyes and your mind to it with a sharp focus and single-handedly going toward that focus with not being distracted by having a laser focus and being focused and committing and really hitting the ground running and keep running in that direction. So they're very self-controlled. They're not very open about their feelings. So they're um, very much that kind of quality. They may be perceived as quiet or shy growing up and in their life. It's very important for them to determine if someone or something is worth it to them, if it's worth investing their time and energy on, if it's worth investing their life on that particular thing. They have a very, very strong work ethic also. Capricorn is a cardinal sign, so you like to take action, you like to be the initiator. This is about thinking through things before making a choice, evaluating it carefully. So when it comes to making a choice, you evaluate what choice that you're going to make before you make it, and you weigh out all the options very, very succinctly, and you derive the green leaves from where they came from. You really look at the situation from all angles and really ponder very deeply about what decision you're going to make before making it. You're not an impulse kind of decision type of person. So there's insecurity here and self-doubt. These very, very strong feelings are very prominent with displacement. They may struggle from low self-esteem. They may also be very pessimistic, seeing the glass half empty in situations, seeing the more negative view of situations, seeing the disadvantages rather than the advantages. They need to learn to let go of control and understand that others don't have as high expectations as they do for themselves and the people in their life. They need to release their firm grip on control at times. So, Capricorn rising children, as I said earlier, were very mature for their age. They may have had a lot of challenges and hardships growing up as a child. Maybe they needed to pure themselves. Maybe they needed to be self-sufficient, fend for themselves. Grow up and become mature very early in life and very quickly. So that's the possibility here. In terms of their facial features, Capricorn rising people can have a lot of very, very strong bone structure. They can be tall. They can have dark hair, dark eyes. Um, and they crave deep and meaningful relationships, not surface level petty relationships, but where you're really understanding that person, really knowing that person on a deep level. Committed, strong relationships with their after. So that is what I have on the Ascendant in Capricorn. Thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the things. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.